Warm welcome to the Forensics Detailing channel. In this video we're doing a glass mega test where we're comparing 12 market leading glass or windshield sealants in all aspects of performance with the aim of providing you a really solid recommendation on what to use. Okay, let's just jump straight in, guys. I'm going to introduce you to the products and do their cost per application at the same time. So here we have the price for what you and how much you get chemical wise, and then the cost per application. So the most expensive to apply is the trade DUXBACK product, which costs roughly £12.50 per application. Once you crack this thing open, you have to use it. You get 8ml per sachet and you get 2 of these sachet applicators. Next up is the GTECHNIQ Smart Glass. This bottle or this kit costs £11. You get 15ml of glass sealant. You have to do 3 coats. So you're going to get through the bottle to apply it, which is going to cost you around 11 quid. Next up is the CARPRO, costing 26 quid for 15ml. It's going to cost you around £8.66 per application, a single coat. Next up is the Carbon Collective Platinum Glass. You have to put 2 coats of this down for optimal performance. 25 quid for 30ml, so about £8.33 per application. You do use a little bit less with this because of the bottle. We'll talk about that later on. Next up, LABOCOSMETICA WNC, 40 quid for 30ml, giving you £6.66 per application because you only put down 1 layer, so you'll use less than the Carbon Collective. Next up, NANOLEX, £30.71 just for the glass sealant, not for the kit. You get 30ml and it's single layer, so it costs around £5.12 per application. Next up, GYEON Quick View. It's 30 quid for 120ml, £3.75. You use a little bit more of this. I work out about 15ml. It's just when you squeeze it, you get a bit more product flowing than these smaller ones that drop out. So it's about £3.75 per application. Then the Soft 99 GLACO DX, 17 quid for 110ml, costing £2.32 per application. Then the ANGELWAX H2Go, 2 coats for optimum performance, £8 for 100ml, 80p per application. Note, you're seeing a big drop off. There's a little drop off here with these 2 mid-order ones, and then these ones are expensive, and this is a drop off where it becomes quite affordable. So that's quite good. Next up, really affordable in 3rd place, is the Stoner's Invisible Glass Rain Repellent, 13 quid, 237ml, costing 55p. You do use a lot more with that particular spray trigger, so I worked out about 10ml per application with that. This would be 5ml because it puts out so much less and you spread it. So there's a little bit of error involved with this, but it's a calculation. Next up, RAINX, 7 quid for 200ml. 35p per application. Again, that's based on using 10ml. And the best one in cost per application is the Infinity Wax Diamond Glass. It's £10 for 250ml, which is also the most volume of liquid. But you spray out little mists and you spread it with a foam applicator pad, which doesn't absorb all the material, even though it's a little bit sticky with the foam. So you use less with this, and it gives it a very low cost per application. So that really is the value proposition. These are our winners. This is the score so far. That's my sliding scale. So if you come first, you get 20. If you come last, you get 0. And I'll stick to that where appropriate for the rest of this test. And there's my initial rankings after test number 1. Next up, durability testing. So this whole mega test is done with Bert and Ian from Pro Detailers magazine, and they're also doing their write-up in the latest issue of Pro Detailers magazine that's available in the description. Please buy that because a lot of work goes into that magazine as well, and your support for it is very much appreciated. We decided very early on when we were drawing out the plans of what we were going to do that we needed a test rig. Okay, and that test rig can create a consistent environment to put all of these products through the same test cycle and give us data. That's the only way to do it. I'll talk about the test rig a bit later on. Let's go on to the results of the test rig. At this point, we came to the conclusion that the CARPRO FLYBY FORTE product that we got was a bad batch. There was hardly any product in there. It was a concentrated orange. When we applied it, it didn't seem to flash. It was too thick and syrupy, and it just came off the screen. It made a mess of the screen. Bert spoke to the distributors. They sent in another bottle, but we'd finished the testing at that point, and that other bottle was clear and full up. So probably the carrier must have escaped, or this product went bad. So I don't think we'll put it in last place. I think we're just going to have to avoid it and say we got a bad batch or something, you know, a bad individual spoilt product, if you like. You get where I'm going with that. So in last place on durability was the Stoner's rain repellent, which survived 61,200 wipes of the wiper blade. The next one was the Infinity Wax, which did 79,200. The next one was the RAINX, which did 90,000 approximately. The next one was the GLACO DX Soft 99, which did 208,000. So quite a big jump up from these. So you could say these three were perhaps not as durable, you know, less durability on those three. Very important. There's the data to support that statement. So 208,000 for the GLACO. GYEON, similar sort of number, 216,000. I'll come back to these two in a second. Next, the ANGELWAX H2Go, 59,200, which is a bit of a jump up actually, sort of like roughly an extra 50,000 swipes of the wiper blade. Next up, the NANOLEX, just pipping the ANGELWAX with 62,800. Then the Carbon Collective, and that which has the two coats, 270,000. Then the LABOCOSMETICA with one coat, 273,600. Then the GTECHNIQ that has three coats, but hey, we're just interested in durability here. 309,600 swipes. Sorry, doing the count. And then the winner, which was a bit of a surprise for me. I didn't know much about this product, but a clear winner, 360,000 swipes, the DUXBACK. Now, there's all that data in a table. So it was measured on time, and we know how many wipes per minute we got, so then we could calculate wipes or swipes. And then some conversion here was done into mileage. That's not an accurate conversion because it's not a car driving around, you know, and it's not subject to what happens when you're driving around. And windscreen wiper blades, you have overlaps, so they can get twice as much wear. But it just gives you a comparative mileage calculation difference. Do I think any of these glass sealants could last 33,000 miles? No, I don't. You know, I don't know how that translates, that number. So there you go, guys. There's their claimed mileage as well, which is really interesting, isn't it? So maybe that gives you an idea of how they translate, but then there's a big difference. So the GYEON claimed one is very similar to the test one, whereas the DUXBACK one is actually massively higher than their claimed one. So this is all quite interesting, isn't it? Maybe GYEON have done it really accurately and DUXBACK have done it really conservatively. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Interesting. So that is durability testing. I'm going to put that up on the board now. Next up, surface appearance, guys. So we head down to Rhopoint Instruments Limited, who are experts in surface quality metering equipment. And we made use of their transparency meter device, which I'll link in the description. And I'll talk more about in another video because it's really intelligent stuff. We put all the products out on test slides and took 3 readings for this data, one from different sections, one from the end, one from the middle, one from the other end. Okay, now the data that we're interested in is haze. So that is haze is haze, you know. And sharpness, which is like blurriness or focus, if you like. And here's all our data. And I've ranked them 1 to 12 for haze and sharpness and then added up. So this one's actually between effectively 1 and 24 points. Now the CARPRO came last because we've talked earlier on, we think we've got a bad batch. You could see that circular residue on there quite heavily on the test slides. So it registered quite high haze. So low haze, 0 would be perfect, high would be bad. Sharpness, it's the other way around. A high reading, so close to 100, would be perfect, and a lower reading would be really blurry. So that got 82 on the sharpness, so 1 point for each, but bad batch, so we're probably going to just disregard all that CARPRO stuff. Next up was the LABOCOSMETICA. It did well on the haze. It was right in the range of everything else, tiny differences. So it picked up quite a few marks there, 5. But it was a bit lower on the sharpness, so it only picked up 3 marks there and 8 overall.
After that was the RAINX. Again, a good reading, a good showing on the haze, 7 points. But the sharpness reading was down. Quite low there, actually, and considerably lower to some of the other ones in the top order. So it lost marks there. Next up is the Soft 99. That's a bit more haze than some of the others, so 2 units of haze. It's not massive, but it was higher than most of them, but very good on the sharpness. So that picked up 10 points. Then it was the DUXBACK. Again, not a great haze reading, but the sharpness reading was really, really good. So a bit hazy, but didn't affect that kind of sharpness. Next up was the ANGELWAX, which was sort of mid-order on both. That's a good reading on haze, actually. They're all so tight that haze, the battle for haze dominance is a tough one. And it was okay on the sharpness, so 14 points, pretty good. Next up, the Infinity Wax, really good on the haze, in fact, second highest. A little bit down on the sharpness, but still overall, I think that's a joint third, because loads of them picked up, points here. Then the Stoners, mid-order on the haze, but very good. That's a low haze reading. And good on the sharpness as well. That surprised me a little bit. So that's done really well. Platinum Glass from Carbon Collective. A little bit higher than some of the others. Most of them were in this sort of 3-2, 3-3 order. So a little bit, tiny bit more haze. But really good on the sharpness. So that's a really strong showing, actually. NANOLEX, really good on the haze. And just down a tiny little bit on the sharpness. GYEON, really good on the haze and mid-order on the sharpness. And GTECHNIQ, pretty good on the haze, right up in the top orders, but really good on the sharpness. This one comes with a residue remover, which you must use on the final coat, if you like, the third coat. And I wonder if that really helps get that high sharpness reading, a sort of clarity, really precise kind of view. So that's our order on appearance. And I've put the score up there on the board. So really the honourable mentions there are GTECHNIQ, NANOLEX and GYEON, which are the top order ones. So let's move on. Next up we're talking jibber jabber or wiper judder. Now wiper judder is very temperamental. It's always good to have a fresh set of windscreen wiper blades that are nice and soft and flexible and are not covered in dirt and all that sort of stuff. That helps. Time of year can make a difference. In the winter, the blades can go a bit harder and all that sort of stuff. What we've done here is I've put them all applied as per manufacturer's instructions, left for the cure times, and then done this on my M4 and recorded all the results. And I'll do a separate video where I just show you all the dry wiper judder, so no windscreen fluid, no water on there, and then wet, and show you the actual what happened. So I'll just simplify it. All of them passed the dry wiper test, which I was quite surprised at. A few of them failed on the wet wiper judder. The CARPRO failed on the wet wiper judder, but not the dry one. But we're sort of bad batch. We've talked about that before. The NANOLEX failed on the wet, so juddered around. Note, the ones that tend to have a grippier buff tend to be more prone to juddering in the wet. The GTECHNIQ failed, but it wasn't quite as bad as the NANOLEX, so I didn't give it a 0. I gave it a 2 there,
judder.
But it did judder. The DUXBACK, I gave it an 8 because it was just creaking like it was about to judder, so it wasn't a full pass. The rest of them, all over here, passed the wet judder tests. It's interesting because I have used some of these before and experienced judder with them. If you're going to get judder, it tends to happen at the start and then it might go away as the products kind of settle down a bit or get wiped away a little bit. I don't know. But those are the results. Those are the marks. Most of them, well, these ones here were passes. So that's our wet and dry wiper judder. Next up, user experience. So I'm going by the Pro Detailers magazine here. So I did some analysis on ease of application and fed that over to them, and they've used that in their part of calculating the results. But they took a more gauged approach. And what they did was they looked for things like PPE recommendations, correct CLP signs, health and safety. Was it easy to read the text on the bottle? Not all of them is. Clear language, sufficient detail, tips or advanced application guides, photos or diagrams,
links to more information and videos, non-messy application method. So all those things were scored, and if you got them all, then you pick up score. And then what they did was look at all the things that are going to slow down or make the application more complicated and perhaps lower the user experience. So things like, do you have to clean it with a specific glass cleaner? Do you have to clay bar it? Do you have to hand or machine polish? Do you need to do an alcohol wipe down? Does it need 2 coats? Does it need 3 coats? Does it have a cure time of 50 to 60 minutes? Does it have a cure time beyond that of 60 to 180 minutes? Or a cure time even of in excess of 3 hours? Because that creates problems, you know. Or did it have a hard, sort of grippy buff? So you built up points and then you could lose them. And these were the final results on that. So the CARPRO's kind of void. I will say on that, it's the only product that you don't buff. You basically lay it out on the applicator, you take the same applicator again, then go over it again in circles, and then you leave it. I need to see what this actually works like, but I'd be amazed if that doesn't leave some circular residues of some description when you get condensation on it, but I'm just speculating. So for some reason the NANOLEX got 1 point when we deducted all the stuff away from the positives. Instructions are very good with this. Does have a grippy buff. Did also leave some slight product lines where the wiper blades ended. And it does require a lot more because of the professional grade products. So there's a lot of good instructions about how to get that prep, but that makes the installation more involved. The LABOCOSMETICA, this one, because it's a test, it's about to be launched. It isn't actually live at the time we shoot this video, so it's very informal getting all the instructions off of them. And really, I'd have liked to see precise written instructions. So yeah, that only got 2 marks at the end. The GTECHNIQ and the Carbon Collective, 3 marks, much more involved prep and longer cure times with these products. Very good instructions with the GTECHNIQ, brilliant instructions actually, the best. But still more involved. So you can see more like the professional grade ones. The user experience is a bit more complicated. With some of these, you just hurl them on. But that hurling them on can affect some of these other tests. You know what I mean? So there we go. Next up in the mid-order, these 3 got 5 points. They're a bit more consumer friendly and easier to kind of apply. And yes, the user experience is probably better with these products. Yeah. Next up with 6 points, the Soft 99 GLACO. I think these built-in applicators are really good. Perhaps this was hampered by the wet buff that you have to do on it, and there is, I think, a 10 to 15 minute cure on it, something like that. The best user experience ratings came up for these 3 products: RAINX, GYEON Quick View, and the DUXBACK. So you could effectively get them onto the car pretty rapidly without sort of any major considerations or intricate preparation requirements. So they might be the ones that are easier for people to deal with. So that's the user experience ratings. I could spend a lot of time talking about this, and I'm going to do a follow-up video where I do, because there's lots of implications, but this is based on analysis and marking and stuff like that, and is using the results of the Pro Detailers magazine, which are more analytical than my brain. So that is user experience, and I've put all of the marks up there. So we're getting towards the end now, guys. Next up, hydrophobicity, guys. So all these products were applied to a test panel and left to fully cure out, and then I poured water over them and looked at which ones flick the water off quickest. Pro Detailers have done a more scientific test with tilt tables and looking at oilophobic stuff. So to get the full juicy stuff, buy the magazine. In reverse order, the DUXBACK was the least hydrophobic, then the Stoners, then the GTECHNIQ, then the CARPRO, and then the Carbon Collective Platinum Glass. These 3 quite similar. There's a big jump up then, I think. RAINX beads really well, but not in the top echelons. Then the NANOLEX was really good. Then these ones are really strong beaders. GYEON, then the Infinity Wax, then the Labo. So that's cool, because that's one of the pro grade ones. So that's the beadiest kind of pro grade coating-esque one, if you like. Then the ANGELWAX, and then the Soft 99 GLACO. Very hard to separate these. I think
Pro Detailers had this one as being more hydrophobic with their tilt table. Very hard. But that, I felt, pinged it a little bit quicker. So that's my take on it. And I've put those marks up there on the board. So I'm ready to go through and calculate the final results. And finally, we're on the podiums, guys. So in joint third place, picking up 74 points, is the GYEON Quick View and the GLACO. These applicators are very cool. They're very hydrophobic. They're medium on kind of durability. A little bit pricier than some of the ones that have won this, but very steady performing products. In second place, picking up 76 points, is the Infinity Wax Diamond Glass. Now this has one Achilles heel, the durability on it is low, but it's so nice to work with. It's so easy to apply and buff. There's no chasing out, there's no residue with it, very rapid to apply. It's the cheapest in the test per application, and it's very beady as well. It's a shame it doesn't have that durability. If it could have matched the durability of the winner, then it would have probably been the winner. But a very good product, that, with just one weakness. And in first place is the ANGELWAX H2Go. This was one of the cheaper ones with a sub £1 cost per application that could actually keep pace with the coating-esque glass sealants in this test. It's also one, if not the most hydrophobic. It's right up there. It's very, very beady stuff. And it lasts well for a non-coating based product. I didn't have any problems with Judder or any of that stuff. It did well in the appearance tests. And it's just picked up the most marks. What did it get? 81 points, so even a little gap. So those are the three winners, guys. There's all the overall results. Just note I avoided the CARPRO rather than added it up because of what we talked about earlier on. Very close field, actually, and not a lot of points separating them. There's some real strengths of some of the ones that didn't win, like the GTECHNIQ, you know, was the best appearance-wise and one of the best durability-wise. The DUXBACK, you know, the best durability-wise. So there are other reasons to look beyond the ones that have won, and that's the way it's fallen. Just have a look at all this data so that you can look at what's relevant to you and kind of pick the best product for your requirements. It's going to be different for everyone else. All of these products I will link in the description, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. I'm now going to put out an unofficial accompanying video where I talk a lot more about these products and what they're actually like. And we'll really get into the heart of glass sealants and all of the interesting subject areas that we haven't had time to cover in this video. A lot of testing has gone into this, guys. It's been a lot of work. If you like seeing this sort of stuff, please show your support by subscribing, because that's really critical to the future of the channel. It really is. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Bye for now. That is the winner.
Holding on to what